Hello and happy Sunday. It is a gorgeous day here in El Valle, and I thought I would try and air dry my hair and chat a little bit about the 5 things I'm going to do differently choosing my next country. Some of you have mentioned, that I should consider Boquete because it's cooler, and that's my next desire for another area to live. Is my priorities are cooler climate, closer to medical care, and some other priorities. But I feel like I've been to Boquete, I've visited, and I'd almost rather have the new adventure of exploring and moving to a new country than staying in the same country and going somewhere that's still kind of familiar. So the adventure part of me is up for the next adventure. And I don't think that that's going to be in Chiriquí province in Boquete. All right, so the first thing that I'm doing is researching and understanding the financial realities. So that includes like tax implications. I never really gave much thought to that before. And I really didn't do much research on Panama at all. I just, came for a visit and gathered information as I was here from people. So I'd want to know the tax implications. Now, Colombia has a global tax and they have a wealth tax. I am going to be chatting with a company that offers like a free 15-minute consultation. I just want to get some factual information because it's kind of hard to come by. I don't know if you've researched Colombia at all, but there's information that's all over the place. So I figured I would just start with, talking with a business that handles tax things. Currency. So Ecuador, the country that I'm also researching, uses the US dollar, which I like. I like that about Panama. It's easy. You don't have to think about currency conversions and the strength or weakness of the dollar. So I do like that. It is convenient. Banking, how easy is it? What are the costs associated with banking? Just to kind of get, the information on that, because that's important to have access to your money, obviously, when you're, living abroad. I want to know about healthcare costs because that's another priority as I'm going to be moving, most likely, to another country in maybe like 6 years or so. And costs for rent. So I'm going to be specifically looking for rent because I'm not going to buy. I will be selling my house and using that money to really fully retire, which is nice. I thought that I was gonna be living in my house forever and just throw me out into the jungle when I die. But I've mentioned this before, my surgery really kind of opened my eyes to health things, and also seeing people kind of struggle here in El Valle as they get older, because it's 2.5 hours from the city, which is where the private hospitals are. So that leads me to the second thing that I'll be doing, and that is researching healthcare for the age that I'm heading into. Those are fireworks. I'm not being shot at. So, when I was 55 and I moved to Panama, I didn't have health insurance and I was, healthy, and just figured I'm going to pay as I go when I need to see a doctor. But my pain, like being in pain and then getting something diagnosed and having surgery really opened my eyes. Also, unfortunately, my brother's not doing well, and I see his decline. He has Lewy bodies, dementia. He's in a care home, and his condition has declined pretty rapidly since I saw him 6 months ago. I also have a cousin who basically is going into hospice care, and he's only 70. So these are realities that nobody wants to think about, but I have to think about them. I mean, I'm a solo person. I have no kids. I live in another country where, no one's going to come to help me. And I wouldn't expect anybody to do that because, why would they? It's a great distance. And it's a pain in the butt. So I need to do these things for myself, and I want to take charge of how I age, and eventually, if I can, how I'm gonna exit this world. So I'm really looking into, for example, hospice care, where I might be going. I want to make sure that there's like hospice available. I love hospice. I think it's one of the best ways to die with dignity. And also I'm going to be looking into the laws on assisted death. Because if I become incapacitated to the point where, I can't walk or feed myself, for me, that's not a quality of life that I want to live. So I'll also be looking into the legal structures that I need to make sure that I have my wishes met, whether that's, medical directives, living will, power of attorney, all those things. So all those very unsexy things I'm going to be looking into. The third thing I'm going to look into is whether a new place fits the lifestyle that I want to live. So for me, I want walkability, which I do have here in El Valle. But most of the walking in El Valle that's flat is in town. And so I want to find a place that has more flat, like nature trails. And I believe that around Loja in Ecuador, I could find that. And that's important to me. Also would like, cafe culture, just cafes and restaurants. Loja has a lot of live music and cultural performances. And I think let's say that I'm going to be, going into, well, let's hope I'm going to be going into the next, stage of getting older. At some point, I'm probably not going to want to travel as much. I would like to travel, like when I get settled into a new place and am able to fully retire. I'd like to travel, but at some point, I'm probably not going to want to be traveling. And so it'll be nice to have a city where I just have activities that I can do there. Music, cultural events, festivals, fairs, whatever it may be. And there's also a university, or maybe more, in Loja. So that appeals to me too, because, that brings in obviously young people, and there's like a different kind of energy about, a university town. Oh, I'm seeing bites on a hibiscus flower. That's not good. I'm gonna have to come out here with my headlamp and my spray for those ants. trying to find some shady spots so I don't have to squint in the sun. So another thing that I'm going to be researching is climate and proximity to like big natural disasters. In California, I dealt with earthquakes and wildfires, and those are very stressful to deal with. So I really liked that Panama was below the hurricane belt, and even though there is burning, like in the dry season, the people and farmers just burn fields or burn debris on the side of the road or burn trash. There have only been a couple of instances where I've been near a fire that seems like it's getting out of control. So I don't think in Ecuador that's going to be an issue, or Colombia, but I'm going to research that. I don't think hurricanes are an issue there. Earthquakes, on the other hand, of course they do happen in Panama, even though the realtor that I met when I was first visiting told me, no, there's no earthquakes at all. So, the twin earthquakes in Venezuela had me looking at the map and asking ChatGPT about earthquake risk in Ecuador. The city where I'm thinking of Loja is further south, and supposedly that should be safer. Again, that's fireworks. And to the north, you can have more seismic risk. I also want to know about seasonal things, extreme rain, extreme drought, water availability, flooding, and just to get a general idea of the risks with the climate. The other thing that I'm going to do that I did not really do with Panama is take proper scouting trips. What I mean by a proper scouting trip is, for me, what I did not do in Panama was hire a local guide, get a tour, learn some of the history of the country and the city, tour neighborhoods where I might want to live according to my lifestyle desires, look at the grocery stores where I'd be shopping, proximity to nature trails, hospitals, and that's what I will be doing either in Colombia and or Ecuador, possibly Portugal, though that's further away than I want to be at the moment from the States. But there may be a time when I am looking to move and it might suit me to be further away. And I could look into Portugal. I haven't done any research on it yet. But, and of course I'd want to, visit and make sure. So those are the things that I am actively doing starting now. And hopefully that helps you with your plans on scouting out different locations internationally, other countries to live in. I guess it was a little naive for me not to do that with Panama. I was just kind of, searching for my next place, made a trip, and just by feel was like, yeah, I like this place. And then just got little, bits of information. Like someone would tell me, like, well, there's the Friendly Nations visa. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And also, one big thing are the assumptions that we make about the new life where we're going to be. I had just assumed that I would love living at the beach because I love the beach. And who wouldn't want to live, you know, in a beautiful beach condo and you could just go for walks on the beach and swim in the ocean? But as I've said before, for me, it just was too hot. I just never adjusted. Even yesterday, I went down to Panama, and the heat just, it drains me. It takes it out of me. And I wouldn't mind a little bit cooler of a climate. I know Boquete is cooler. I mean, I was cold when I went there a couple months ago. But if you're prepared for that, if you know what you're getting into, then, you know, you can plan and wear the appropriate attire. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. There is a company that can help you with like start to finish concierge moving. It's called StartAbroad. I did an interview with the owners. They help people with Panama, Costa Rica, Portugal, and Spain. So they have like, you know, a concierge package you can basically customize for what you need help with specifically, or they can absolutely handle like everything from your visas to pet relocation to neighborhood research, buying a car, you know, utilities. So I will leave the link in the video description. It is an affiliate link, no cost to you, but if you know, purchase from them, I get a little referral fee. I will see you next week. I'm going to be in Casco Viejo celebrating my 62nd birthday.